Hello, everyone. Matthew Schwab here with another episode of Matthew Schwab Listens. Today is a very special episode because I get to interview one of the hard hitters in the Down syndrome narrative, the Lucky Few. Josh Avis, producer of the Lucky Few podcast, and Heather Avis, one of the three founders of the Lucky Few movement and Lucky Few podcast. So hello, guys. Thanks for being on this interview today.
Hi, Matthew.
Hey, Matthew. So good to be here.
Thanks. So, I'll like for you, the audience to know what the Lucky Few is.
Oh gosh, that's a big question. So we have 3 kids, and our oldest daughter, Mason, is 15 and has Down syndrome. And then we have a 9-year-old son with Down syndrome too. Our middle daughter does not have Down syndrome. And when Macy came home, there was this story or this narrative around having a daughter with Down syndrome that there was a lot of negativity attached to it. So like a lot of sorrow and grief and people saying, I'm so sorry. And why would you want to have a daughter with Down syndrome? And all, like that's supposed to be this scary, hard thing. And I remember bringing her home and thinking, wait a second, all those ideas and that story and that narrative about Down syndrome that's being told about to me mostly by people who don't know anyone with Down syndrome, about my daughter didn't feel true. And I just felt so lucky to be her mom. And I actually have a moment when she was a baby. Well, no, she was probably like 2.5 or 3. And I was at a playground with her and there were no other kids there with Down syndrome. And I looked around and thought, I'm so proud that she's mine. Like, I'm so proud that the only kid here with Down syndrome is my kid. And I'm so lucky to be her mom. And that idea and that sentiment just continued to expand. And then I started a blog, and then I had an Instagram account and started using the phrase, the lucky few, that there's few of us who love a person with Down syndrome, and those of us who do are very lucky. And as I started talking about that and attaching that word lucky to Down syndrome, I realized that so many people in the community felt the same way. And it really has just been a little bit like wildfire spreading in our community.
That is definitely amazing. And can you also tell us about the podcast?
Yeah, yes. So the Lucky Few started out that way, and then it kind of got bigger than just me saying the phrase. And so we actually started an organization called the Lucky Few that is dedicated to advocacy and awareness around Down syndrome. And we do social media, we do collaborations, we work with brands. I've written some books. And then along under that Lucky Few umbrella is our podcast, the Lucky Few podcast, which started about 5 years ago. And I have 2 co-hosts, Micah Boyette and Mercedes Lara, and they both have children with Down syndrome. And my husband Josh here is the editor, and we have a producer, and we do weekly episodes, and we usually have guests on. The 3 of us talk a lot about our experience as being moms, but then we also have experts on in like the medical field or media. We have a lot of guests on who have Down syndrome. You've been a 2-time guest on the Lucky Few podcast, and we love doing it.
That's awesome. I love being part of the. I love being part of your podcast. So, are there any plans in the future for the Lucky Few?
What are our plans? What do you think, babe?
Well, yeah, just speaking of the podcast, we're thrilled that we have over 227 episodes so far, and we're hoping to hit 1 million downloads next spring for World Down Syndrome Day. So yes. I think we're looking to it would be fun we're just throwing some ideas around, Matthew. So we would love to do a live event for that. And we're always doing like the kind of the go-tos, the Down syndrome conferences and the conventions and the walks. What else what's on the horizon?
For the Lucky Few, I'm working on another children's book right now, so that will be making its way into the world in the next couple of years. It's a very long process, so it's not going to be for a while. And yeah, we're like just continuing on with a lot of what we're doing, just continuing to share our story and encourage others to share theirs as well.
Wow, that is a lot of stuff.
It is a
Yeah.
lot. It feels like a lot of stuff.
Uh, yeah. So, um, how? So now we got in this series questions out of the way. Let's answer some just for fun questions.
Okay. Okay.
So I know you guys did an ad campaign for Gap. How was that?
Oh gosh, that was such a dream come true. My second children's book called Everyone Belongs came out in 2022, last year. And in 2021, I somehow, because of different circumstances, I have met and then connected to some of the people who work for Gap corporate. And so I pitched it. I thought, you know what? The worst thing they can do is say no. Like, I'm going to pitch to them this theme of Everyone Belongs for their back to school campaign. And they said, yes, we love the idea. And so we ended up doing an international campaign for them with the theme of Everyone Belongs. And in my children's book, Everyone Belongs, there's a lot of diversity with disability. And so they ended up having a campaign with the most disabled cast that they've ever had in one Gap campaign. And my kids got to be right there front and center, all three of my kiddos, and we got to be on set, and they made a commercial, and it really was so fun. Collaborations are my favorite thing to do. And I especially love a collaboration with the giant brand.
Oh, yes.
And so I'd love more of those things, but it was so fun. And then just really, really encouraging and inspiring to see so many people around the world, literally like taking a picture of the ad in the stores and sharing it and being really excited to see Mason and August, our kids with Down syndrome, front and center in every Gap store in the nation and quite a few internationally. And it feels like a really great accomplishment to have had those interactions with the head ups at Gap. You know, a lot of the time when we're working with big corporations, this is their first experience with a person with Down syndrome. They've never interacted with a real live person with Down syndrome. And so it feels like an honor and a privilege just to be the one to say, hey, you're going to be in our kids' lives and they're going to make you better. And that usually is the case.
Yes, I definitely have to agree with you on that. So, what do you like to do for fun with your kids?
You go first, Josh.
Oh, well, Matthew, you know we love to travel. So this
Definitely.
year, we got to see you in Washington, D.C.
Oh yeah.
So we just love to adventure. We love the beach. It's definitely have to be like a warm climate. So we love to go to Hawaii. We love anything with warm water, clear water. We're kind of spoiled that way. Let's see. Yeah, so just traveling and meeting people and hearing people's stories is something that we love to do. Right now, our kiddos love to dance, and Mason's our little dancer, and
Wow.
she's not in the studio right now, but she has been in the past, and she always has like a recital. They've been part of the local theater, and they have done performances. All three of our kids have been in plays and in performances. So celebrating that and their unique talents.
Movies.
Oh yeah, we love to go to the movies.
Me too. And as you can tell, I love to travel too. I didn't just see you guys at Washington, D.C.
That's right.
Even as recent as the 51st annual National Down Syndrome Congress's convention.
That's
Yes,
right.
it was an extra special year, extra lucky year for us because we got to see you twice this year. So grateful for that. Yeah, we love, the kids love going to the movies. We have a big backyard and a swimming pool, and so having people over is really important to our family. The kids love when people come over for dinner or just to hang out. We're a very social crew.
That's that's definitely awesome. That's really cool. So, what is your favorite holiday tradition? Since the holidays are literally around the corner, we just got about like the rest of this month and then holidays coming up. So, what's your favorite holiday tradition?
Okay, favorite holiday tradition. We are big fans of Christmas. We celebrate Christmas in our home, and we can't wait for Christmas to start. We usually don't put any decorations up until after Thanksgiving. We like Thanksgiving too. And one of my favorite traditions is we've been getting a Christmas tree at the same Christmas tree farm since Macy, our daughter, was a baby. So for probably for like 12 years.
Yeah.
And we go usually the first weekend in December. And we go to the Christmas tree farm, and it's a cut your own tree, and we pick out a tree, and we bring it home and do like a little decorating party, and it kind of like kicks off the holiday season. I love that. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I'd have to say Christmas time. Our Macy is an absolute Christmas junkie. She loves it so much. In fact, I was walking into, I think it was Lowe's or Home Depot recently, and I'm not sure when this airs, Matthew, but right now it's October and they already have Christmas out. And every time Mason walks into a store and she sees that Christmas is out, she flips out. She just thinks it's the best ever. So yeah, Christmas is a pretty special time for us. Heather makes our house look like a Christmas card. It's pretty fun.
You're speaking my language right there, because Christmas has been my favorite holiday since I was born.
Really? What's your favorite Christmas tradition?
So we do this thing for every Christmas Eve. We always do cheese fondue for dinner and chocolate fondue for dessert.
Ooh,
Yeah.
I want to steal that one. That's so fun.
But in the past, we checked Santa on NORAD. That was in the past. I think we only did that for like maybe 5 or 6 years, and then we stopped doing that. But my favorite traditions, past and present, is the fondue. And for the past, my youngest brother Will and I had Elf on the Shelf. At first, I was really uncomfortable and nerved about it, but as time went by, because we've been doing Elf on the Shelf for years, I grew comfortable with it. And like literally in the past, when we were doing Elf on the Shelf, like Will and I woke up at this purposely wake up at the same time every morning, early in the morning, in the morning, and the first thing that we do is go around the entire house looking for the Elf on the Shelf.
I love that. That's so fun.
Yes.
So fun.
So how do you love California?
Gosh, I love California. I love it here. I like that we have where we live. We're about an hour from the coast. We can go to the beach. We're about an hour from the mountains. We can go skiing, snowboarding, and then we're about an hour from the desert. We're sort of in a desert town. So we always joke like you can do like lay by the pool in the desert, go skiing in the mountains, and then end your day at the beach if you wanted to, all in one day. And I love how diverse California is. I love the weather here, we don't really have winter, which I prefer. I don't like being cold. And our family's here. We both have our family here. So that's a big part of why we love California too. What about you?
Yeah. Yeah, I was born and raised in Southern California, Matthew. So I love it here. I really do. I do love visiting other parts of the country, but there's just something kind of special to where we are with being close to all the things that Heather mentioned. And yeah, I love the warm weather, and I love the coast. The beach is like our spot. So you got to come out and visit us sometime.
Definitely. I've been wanting to go to California for years, because that's where Hollywood is. I love Hollywood because like all the big hit movies like Harry Potter, The Hobbit, and the Lord of the Rings, and even that show that was shot and filmed in California, the A&E's docu-series Born This Way.
That's right.
I met some of the cast already when they came here, but
Mhm.
I would like to see the rest of the cast.
Oh, cool. Yes, you got to get out here. We would love it.
You're always welcome to come stay with us.
Thanks. I'll be honored.
Same.
So last question is, pretend you're interviewing me. What is one thing you want to know?
I want to know what you're up to next, Matthew. What's something coming up in your life that you're excited about, even if like personal or work?
So uh, business wise, I am going to locally going to Coastal Buzz Cape Fear Buddy Walk, but like almost 2 hours away from us, east, and there I'm going to speak at their Buddy Walk,
Cool.
and so far that's the only speaking engagement I have. So we're trying to get more engagements in in the books, but
Yeah.
we probably not out of state travel yet, but we're trying to get more local speaking engagements and exhibitor booths
Oh yeah. Cool.
opportunities as well.
That's exciting. How about in your
And
personal world?
yeah, and I think there's how much I'm pretty sure you guys know about it, that I was part of the whole Jumbotron montage in
Yeah.
Square, New York.
Yes.
And the funny thing was that technically that was my first time in New York, even though I wasn't actually there. I mean, I was supposed to go a couple of years ago when we were starting to get the inquiries for out of state, like right after my TEDx.
Oh yeah.
So I was supposed to go to Syracuse, New York for a speaking engagement, and then I think at first we lost contact with them, and then when we did come back into contact with the point contact with the Syracuse, New York, and then the Nelson and Kobe came around. So and then they said that they were more interested in getting in another speaker. So that opportunity was lost for me. So I still haven't gone to New York.
Okay. Well, maybe this will be your year, like this next calendar year.
Maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what is your favorite place you visited in California?
Gosh,
Oh, that's a
good
hard one.
question.
You know, the first thing that came to mind, and we haven't been there very much in the last 20 years, but there is a place underneath the Golden Gate Bridge where I proposed to Heather a long time ago. And I just love the Bay Area. I love San Francisco. I love that we both went to school in San Francisco or in the North Bay. And yeah, so that's one of them. I mean, California is very different because it's so big. You know,
Mhm.
there's places in the desert that are amazing. We love Palm
True.
Springs. I absolutely love Laguna Beach, which
Yeah.
is down here.
Laguna Beach is one of my favorites.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say Laguna Beach is only an hour from us. It's my favorite beach in California. I just love it. But I really love San Francisco. It's a fun place to visit because it's a pretty good jaunt. It's about an 8-hour drive for us, or like an hour flight. So it's a fun place to make a plan to go to for the weekend or something to visit.
That's that's definitely awesome. I would love to go to San Fran too, because mainly because three of my I'm not sure four or at least three of my favorite movies took place there. The Planet of the Apes and the most recent Planet of the Apes were filmed right there.
Oh, I didn't know that. Very cool.
Wow.
That's why I want to go there. But my favorite place I've gone to at home is I'm a history nerd as well. Is that I about 4 months ago, my dad and I went to the Outer Banks as a portion of my last year's Christmas present, and
Wow.
that was to see the Fort Raleigh National Historic Park, the colony of Roanoke.
Wow,
Amazing.
that's super cool.
Yes.
Very cool.
So, is there anything else you want us to know about the Lucky Few?
No, I just think it's amazing that we get to meet people like you, Matthew.
Yeah.
And we both feel very fortunate that it has opened up doors to meet people like you and be in spaces where we can celebrate what it is that we can celebrate with everyone that has Down syndrome. And yeah, it's fun. It's opened up relationships, and it's conversations like this that keep shifting the narrative.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And while we call it the lucky few, and we'll continue to call it that, the goal is, as the narrative shifts, it really becomes the lucky many, that everybody can see the beauty and the humanity and the whole worth of every person with Down syndrome.
Yes, I think one of the biggest challenges out there for our community is the workforce, because of
Yeah.
unreliable transportation, and when there's reliable transportation like Uber and Lyft, they overcharge for one route,
Yeah.
and which is not good. And
No.
that's where Social Security kind of feeds in. I personally think that Social Security is like the hugest barrier for the adults with Down syndrome and other disabilities, because Social Security apparently loves to penalize our population for overworking.
Yeah, I know, it's terrible. The whole setup needs to be adjusted. I'm glad you're out there doing some of that work, Matthew. You're doing such important work.
Thanks. So, audience, thank you for listening to this very informative yet entertaining episode of Matthew Schwab Listens. And so make sure to visit my business, Matthew Schwab Speaks, through the website, MatthewSchwabSpeaks.com, and stay tuned for the next Matthew Schwab Listens episode.